Hi everybody, I hope you have had a great week. Welcome to our channel. I'm so happy to have you guys here today. We're going to do a fall DIY. So let's go over the supplies first. So we're going to use items from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use 2 of these small sunflowers. We're also going to use a sunflower bouquet from Dollar Tree. It has 3 sunflowers in the bouquet. It also comes with a cattail, some raffia, berries, and leaves. So we're going to use that as well. We'll use some coordinating ribbon. I'm going to use the buffalo plaid and a little bit of burlap. We also used an LED candle. Any one will do. You'll need some black paint or chalk paint. You'll also need either some white paint or a craft chalk marker, some floral foam, and then we'll need 2 of the stretched canvas pictures from the Dollar Tree. We're also going to use 1 of the extra large craft sticks and then 1 of the tumbling tower blocks. We'll also need a razor blade, a pair of scissors, a paintbrush, and something to write with. And for glue, we're going to use hot glue and some Fix-All adhesive from the Dollar Tree. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the canvas from these frames. So they're just stapled in. So once you pull the first piece up, usually you can pry it up with a pair of scissors. You can pull those out pretty easy. Sometimes you do have to give a little bit of a tug to get it out, but it's really not that hard to get the canvas off of those. Then taking our floral foams, just pop that into the corner of the frame and then mark that along the edge where we're going to cut with a pencil or a pen, and then turn it around so that you're able to mark the other edges as well, so you'll know exactly where to cut. The groove just helps the X-Acto knife stay straight. So then go ahead and use your knife to cut through that, and then we're just going to use that small sliver there so you can use the larger piece for another craft project. Now put that back in the corner, take a straight edge, and we're going to mark corner to corner so that we can cut this in half. Because we're going to double up our frame, we need to double up on the floral foam, and the foam is only going to go into the corner, so we're just creating 2 triangles out of this. So now we've got both of our frames ready, and we also have our 2 pieces of the floral foam. So now we're going to be able to start putting this together. So the first thing we're going to do is put our 2 frames together. Now this is just MDF like particle board, so it works really well with some hot glue. It holds really nicely. So that's what I'm going to use here, and just make sure you line up your edges. So now that we have those 2 put together, we're also going to put our foam together. So this is where we're going to use our Fix-All adhesive, because we don't want to melt the foam with the hot glue gun. So just spread your glue out and then attach the 2 pieces together so that they're going the same direction. Now this does take a little bit longer to dry. For the sake of the video, so I could film and move it along, I did wrap mine with a little bit of floral wire just to help hold it together. Then I wrapped some of this burlap around the foam here and attached it to itself with some hot glue, just because it wasn't touching the floral foam, so I wasn't worried that it was going to melt that at all. Then taking our burlap ribbon, our buffalo plaid ribbon we got from the Dollar Tree, we are going to start wrapping this around our frame. So you just want to attach it at the beginning with some hot glue, and as you wrap it, occasionally you'll want to put another little dot of hot glue, but it's really not necessary to put a lot of glue on this as you wrap it. Once the beginning is done, and as you're wrapping it and kind of overlapping a little bit, it holds itself down. So you really don't need to add a lot of glue as you wrap around this here. And you want to wrap all the way around the frame. Now it did take me 2 whole rolls of this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, which was 9 feet, so total 18 feet to get all the way around the frame. And I did make sure I pulled it really tight and overlap just a tiny bit. Then you glue that edge down at the end. And now we're going to use the hot glue and put this floral foam in the corner. So again, since I wrapped it in the burlap, you're able to use the hot glue. If you're just using the foam, make sure you use your Fix-All adhesive, because it will melt it and then it just won't hold because it's going to have big holes in the foam. So now that I have that attached, we can start putting our flowers on. So cutting that pick apart that I had with the sunflower bouquet, I'm going to go ahead and pop in the cattails, the raffia, and some of the leaves. I did put a little bit of hot glue there just to make sure it stayed in that floral foam. And then the sunflowers, there's 3 of those in that pack there. So I put 1 in the center and then 1 on either side of that. I put a little bit of hot glue and then just pop it through that floral foam, and it holds really nicely. Now there were 2 extra leaves that were on there, so I tucked those underneath of the sunflowers on either side. Now taking your pencil and your craft stick, you're just going to mark where to cut on the frame here, and you do want to cut nice and slow with the scissors because it will split the wood if you don't. And then you're just going to cut both sides, line it up, see if it matches, if it needs trimmed at all. If it doesn't, then go ahead and paint it if you like. So I'm going to use this black chalk paint from the Dollar Tree, and you can paint both sides if you want to, it's not necessary. And then I printed out the word blessed on the computer, and I am just tracing over the back of it with a pencil, and this is going to help to create like a stencil that we can rub onto the craft stick here. So you're just going to take a craft stick or a pencil or something and rub over top of the word with the pencil marks towards the wood, and as you can see, it leaves the letters on the wood, so you're able to see where to go over it with. So I went over that with a chalk marker. Again, you can just use white paint if you like. Then I also did the same thing with these little vines. I just printed those out on the computer, traced over them with a pencil, rubbed it with the craft stick, and then I was able to go over it with the chalk marker, as it was made pretty much like a stencil. So you can print that out. You can just draw it freehand with a pencil and rub it on. You don't really need to have a printer or a computer to do this. And I put some little dots on the vines there with the craft marker, and then attach that with the hot glue to the sign. Once that was done, I decided to create a little base to put my candle on so it would sit a little bit higher. So I cut a craft stick down, I glued it to a tumbling tower block, and then glued the candle on top where I was able to reach the on-off button. So when you glue this to the top of the floral foam, you also want to make sure that you have the on-off button facing the back so that it's easy to turn on and off. Now we're just going to attach the hangers. I took about a foot-long piece of black satin ribbon from Dollar Tree. I fold that in half. I lay that over the top of the front of the sign, and then I take those 2 ends, wrap it around, and pull it through the little hole that I created there, and then pull it tight. Once you have that pulled tight, you're just going to flip it over. I put a little dot of hot glue towards the base of the sign there, and then take the edges of the ribbon, turn them, and then tuck it down towards the base and just glue that together. And that's going to create this little loop here at the top that you can use as a hanger. I just liked it that way. It's a little bit more decorative. Then taking the 2 tiny sunflowers, I pulled the wire off of those and then just glued those to either side of the little vine that I put on the craft stick. And that is the whole thing done. I really like how the candle looks in the center of that. When I first started the project, I actually didn't have the candle there, and then it looked pretty plain. It just didn't look right. So I was really glad I had that LED candle from Dollar Tree on hand, that I was able to put that in the project. I really think it helped finish this off. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you like this video. It really helps my channel out. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy seeing. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day.